know that we didn't have pads on. They're a competitive group and they're ready to go. They want to hit, they want to do those things, but there's certain things that we can't really evaluate until it's time in pads. But right now, I feel like we've given them some concepts that we've asked them to learn and work on, and some techniques that fit those concepts, and kind of told them that when we get in our team situations and whatever else, that we're more concerned with their technique and not as concerned with how the play ends up with the collisions and everything, because that's going to come later. So far, teaching them new techniques and asking them to do new things. There's some new skills that they're challenged with, and there's some new skills that they're starting to master. And I felt like today was much better than Tuesday, and so I'm encouraged and I'm excited to just see them continue to come along. And for the record, I got a good group with experienced guys. They're tough. There's some good leadership there. I'm not starting from scratch teaching them how to play football. There's just some skills that fit our concepts that are different than what they've been doing. And right to the very core of things, like getting in a stance. They've been in a 2-point stance a lot, some of them their whole career. Now I'm asking them to put their hand on the ground, more pro style. And so learning how to pass block and kick step out of that stance versus being up in a 2-point stance is a new skill. So when they struggle and are frustrated with that skill, I'm not evaluating whether or not they're a good football player yet on something like that. I'm trying to help them master a new skill, and in a couple of weeks, it should be a non-issue for them. But little things like that, you asked me to characterize them. I think they're working hard and learning new things, and I'm encouraged. And I started with a good group, so I'm happy that it's not like starting with a whole group of freshmen that don't know anything.
Without Kyle Johnson and T. John, who are the guys that are stepping up as leaders so far this unit?
Well, I've been really happy with Tuni Kanuch. I've spoken to him and challenged him to kind of step up and be a guy that, he's already a fun guy. He's a fun personality in that group, and anybody that knows O-line room dynamics, there's always lots of color in the O-line room. There's lots of personality, and I've asked him to kind of use his personality and his style of leadership to help us bring people along and keep things positive and keep them going. I think Louis Lapuahu is doing a great job with that, and I've just got a group of some young guys who are, they don't have to be very vocal. They're not, as far as leadership goes, but they're eager. And stepping up in those spots. One of the things that our line did last year is we had a lot of guys that played, they play on the left side as a guard, then they play on the right side as a tackle, and they do things like that. And in our situation right now, where we're down a couple guys, it's helped that they have experience working in different positions. So my goal for the long term, though, is to get a guy into a spot where he's a great fit, and then let him get good at one spot over time. So right now I'm benefiting from the fact that these guys have moved around and done some different things.
Who are you looking at the center spot specifically? Who's manning that spot?
Parker Daw is a senior. He's a guy who's walked on and been with us for a few years, and he's doing an outstanding job in the weight room, and he understands our schemes and concepts and moving people around. So he stepped into that position, and I've challenged him to take that on this spring and to own it, and he doesn't have to look over his shoulder or feel like he is going to get replaced any second. I want him to treat it like it's his spot. And then behind him, I've got a walk-on center who's also the same quality, a guy that could be a scholarship guy easily, and his name's Quinn Ficklin, and he's done a great job. He had shoulder surgery last year, so he didn't get to participate very much in the fall. So coming in this spring, he's stepping up and getting some of his first reps, and I've been really encouraged with him. So we have Caden Hawes coming in the fall, freshman that we just signed from Arkansas, who's a center, and I feel like he'll come in and give us some needed depth there. And then there's other guys in there that have run center before, like Jacob Jimenez, and if we need to, we can move him over and have him get some reps there. So I don't have depth overall right now, but I've got depth of experience, if that makes sense. Guys have they've played different positions, and I think we'll be all right.
Is there a group that appreciates the tempo that you guys are going now more than your boys?
No, does anybody appreciate it more than my guys?
Yeah.
No, probably not. My guys probably appreciate it the most.
What's that like though for them? You know, they've been trying to go so fast for the last couple of years to actually be able to settle and identify and do.
Well, it's funny because we had our first practice, and they were always running away from me. I try to talk to them, and they're turning around and they're running. Everyone's running somewhere, and I don't know that they even know where they're running to. They're just always running, and I'm like, hey, stop! You know, I'm the one with the whistle. You're not going to be late. I'm talking to you. You know, you don't have to run anywhere. We're you know, we want to keep the go hard part, but we're going to slow down a little bit, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm going to, you know, I want to tell you how I want things done. I'm going to teach you these skills I'm trying to ask you to do, and you keep running away from me, and they're like, oh, sorry, you know, and I think they just keep wanting to run back to the line of scrimmage, and we told them, okay, we're going to huddle, and so they run back to the huddle, and it's like, just, you know, that part of it has been really fun for me. It's a little comical because I know the personalities, but it's been fun for me because the biggest challenge you have usually with the offensive line and the big guys is you're always trying to get them to hustle. These guys hustle. They hustle everywhere. And I'm trying to get them now. It's a little bit easier to pull the reins on them and slow them down a little bit than to always have to be the guy kicking them in the fanny and trying to make them go harder. So they know how to go hard. They know how to hustle. They're working really hard. And I think they appreciate the fact that while we're teaching them so many new things, we're slowing down enough to help them on the spot kind of correct some things. And I think they'd been in the other system for a while and they kind of knew things, and so they could go fast and they didn't need as much in between plays as far as feedback goes. So with us right now teaching them so many new things, we need a little bit of time. So I think that's been a little bit of an adjustment for them in a positive way, and I think they like getting in the huddle and having a chance to talk to each other.
How's the collaboration with Ty Detmer going so far?
Working with Ty is awesome. I mean, he's the same way with you guys as he is with us. He's a genuine person. He's very accommodating. I enjoy that Ty has a great knowledge of football and what we're going to do here. He has a great knowledge of. So our conversations are we're on the same page because, you know, from day one, from the time I interviewed with Ty at the beginning, we have similar background. He's got a great knowledge of what we're doing up front, and I've had time in my career to learn more what's going on behind the offensive line and downfield. And so when we talk, we have a really good dialogue that we can follow. So that's been pretty natural. And you know, we've known each other for 29 years, so at this point we already know we either like each other or we don't like each other. Fortunately, we like each other.
Last question.
And I don't mind getting picked on, so it's okay being on ties.
What the defense, Coach E talked about how the defense is going multiple fronts. For your offensive line guys, what does that do to be facing, you know, 4-3, 3-4, just, you know, different approaches that way?
You know, everybody does that. So for us, we just have rules, and it's just getting the line to identify what they see and then understand the rules for what they see. So right now, them changing fronts doesn't bother us as much because these guys know how to identify fronts. What is challenging is when they rotate or when we go in motion and we force them to rotate and move. That's where offensive line-wise, when you're learning these new skills and concepts, the defense, you get up at the line and you see it, and then it moves, and you have to understand where everybody moved to. And so I know Coach Tuyaki's group's doing a great job. I mean, today we had a couple of plays where we popped a runner and you know, picked up some good yards and a good chunk, and I would think to myself what I had just seen, and I would say, all right, did we just do really good, or is the defense learning their new scheme and maybe somebody wasn't where they were supposed to be? And I think sometimes right now it's a little of each, and their group they're working and looking across the line at that defense right now. Whichever front they get in, they are athletic, they're talented, and they run and play so hard. that it's it takes a minute to just adjust to how quickly those things happen. And so that's, I think, they're working on things and they're asking their guys to do a lot of things, and you can see it. And they're doing a good job.
Thanks, Coach.
Good stuff.